The NFL is considered one of the most competitive leagues on planet Earth, and some players are willing to do whatever it takes to have an edge over their opponents. These players are willing to go against the rules to get what they want, like this player who stepped on a downed opponent to keep him on the ground, or these players who faked being injured to get an extra timeout for their team. One player even confessed his crimes as though there was nothing wrong with what he did.
You could have just given me the $20 million and I would just told you I did it.
Today, we will examine some NFL players who were caught trying to take the easy route to success. Josh Gordon. The first name on our list is a former professional footballer who played wide receiver for 8 seasons in the National Football League. Josh Gordon played college football for the Baylor Bears and was selected by the Cleveland Browns in the second round of the 2012 NFL Supplemental Draft. He spent 7 seasons with the Cleveland Browns before being traded to the New England Patriots in 2018. Gordon has had a long history of substance abuse, and his story begins back in middle school, where he first started self-medicating with Xanax, marijuana, and codeine in middle school. He claims he first got into using these substances as a result of social awkwardness, anxiety, and adolescent trauma-based fear. These drugs allegedly helped him numb these feelings so he could have a typical day. Things got worse after he consumed an entire bar of Xanax and began nodding off and drooling in class. He was expelled from 2 middle schools for stealing and kicked out of Westbury Christian Prep School for marijuana use. His substance use continued in college when he was arrested after officers found him and his teammate asleep in a car parked in the drive-through lane of a Taco Bell at 2 in the morning. Several bags of marijuana were found in the vehicle, and he was charged with misdemeanor marijuana possession. Unsurprisingly, Gordon was involved in malicious practices as a professional NFL player. He had confessed to taking a shot of alcohol before each game to get the motor running. He estimated he had one strange substance or the other in his system for probably every game of his career. His drug problem became evident after he was suspended for 2 games for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. This happened at the start of the 2013 season, where he went on to finish the year as the league leader in receiving yards and earned first-team All-Pro and Pro Bowl honors. He was arrested for DWI just before the start of the 2014 season. 2 months after this, he was suspended for the entire season for failing a drug test, but this suspension was reduced to 10 games. The Browns suspended him for the season's final game due to a violation of team rules. The suspension didn't end there, as he was suspended for the entire 2015 season due to another violation of the league's substance abuse policy. Gordon would later publish a letter saying he wasn't aware that the substance was illegal in the NFL as his doctor prescribed it. "I failed myself when I didn't check with the league office to ensure that my doctor prescribed codeine-based medicine was allowed under NFL guidelines." After several years of suspensions and rehabilitation, Gordon announced his retirement on September 26, 2024. Our next mention is someone who didn't commit this crime for himself, but did it for his team. Dion Grant. This next player didn't just cheat, but helped his entire team cheat in a game, leaving their opponents furious. Damukong Grant is a former professional football player who played as a safety for 12 seasons in the NFL. For his college football career, he played for the Tennessee Volunteers football and was a member of the Tennessee National Championship team, earning All-American honors. The Carolina Panthers selected Grant in the second round of the 2000 NFL Draft. He spent 4 seasons here before being sent to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he spent 3 seasons. He signed for the New York Giants on April 1st, 2010, where he won a Super Bowl ring in Super Bowl XLVI. As a dedicated team member, Grant was willing to do whatever it took for the Giants to emerge victorious in a match. Most teams are victims of a well-executed hurry-up offense. Some teams are forced to use one of their timeouts to slow the offense's momentum and put some fresh players on the field. The New York Giants devised another way to slow the momentum down without wasting their precious timeouts. In a game against the St. Louis Rams on September 11, 2011, the Giants had an early 7-3 lead against the Rams. 2 Giants players suddenly fell to the ground at almost the same time. This happened while the Rams drove into the Giants' 10-year line while using a no-huddle offense. Dion Grant and Jaquian Williams fell to the ground just as the Rams snapped the ball. Neither player had been hit during the build-up, and it was almost impossible for both players to sustain phantom injuries. Upon seeing Grant on the ground, Williams suddenly got back to his feet as though nothing happened. The referees were forced to call a timeout after witnessing what had happened. Several complaints came after this incident with the Rams linebacker Brian Keel, who was a member of the Giants the previous season, saying, "Perry Fewell coaches that. He's their DC. He coaches that." This implies that the Giants' defensive coordinator teaches his players to take a dive and cheat when the opposition is on the run. The NFL would later issue a memo on the incident, informing all teams that they would face fines, suspensions, and lost draft picks if evidence concluded that a member or members of the team had faked injury to gain an advantage during the game. Those found to be violators will be subject to appropriate disciplinary action for conduct detrimental to the game. This next player's furious outbursts led to his cheating suspicion, and a harsh truth was uncovered. Bill Romanowski. Next, we have a player who spent over a decade in the sport and was found cheating to have an edge over his rivals. William Thomas Romanowski was an American professional football player who played in the linebacker position. He played in the NFL for 16 seasons and was given the nicknames Romo and RomoCop. Bill was selected by the San Francisco 49ers in the third round of the 1988 NFL Draft and played for 6 seasons. He spent 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles and would eventually move to the Denver Broncos, where he spent 6 seasons. He won 4 Super Bowl titles in his career, 2 coming from his time with the 49ers and the other 2 with the Broncos. Bill also received Pro Bowl honors during his time with the Broncos. Though he was considered a great player, he had several altercations with players that constituted his unsportsmanlike behavior. One of his earliest altercations came in 1995 when he was ejected from a game and fined $4,500 for kicking an opponent in the head. He was fined $20,000 after a helmet-to-helmet hit on an opposing quarterback, Kerry Collins, during a preseason game. This collision resulted in Collins sustaining a broken jaw. His most notable incident occurred in 2003 when he attacked his teammate. Bill argued with tight end Marcus Williams and struck Williams with a punch. This punch crushed Williams's eye socket, forcing him to retire from the sport. Williams sued the aggressive athlete for damages of $3.4 million and argued that Bill was suffering from roid rage when he attacked him. This is a term used to refer to anger induced by the use of steroids. He was later involved in the 2003 Balco scandal, where several NFL players were found using steroids. Bill would eventually confess to the claims, as he said, "I took human growth hormone for a brief period, and I definitely didn't receive what I got out of THG." Next is a player who spiraled into depression and went against the rules to fill the void he felt. Calvin Ridley. This 29-year-old player is a professional football wide receiver whose professional career is relatively young, as he's been with the NFL for just 6 years. Calvin Orrin Ridley plays for the Tennessee Titans and played college football for the Alabama Crimson Tide, where he was part of the national championship winning teams in 2015 and 2017. The Atlanta Falcons drafted him in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft. He was also named to the PFWA All-Rookie team and earned second-team All-Pro honors in 2020. His career seemed to be going smoothly until the 2021 season, when he announced he would be stepping away from football due to mental health issues. This announcement came midway through the season and later revealed that he got into gambling. Ridley claimed to have been depressed and angry at the time when he did this and tagged it as the worst mistake of his life. He also stated that he wasn't gambling in an attempt to cheat the game, as he hadn't played with his team for over a month. "In a dark moment, I made a stupid mistake. I wasn't trying to cheat the game. That's the thing I want to make clear," he wrote. He also said, "I was still just so depressed and angry, and the days were so long. I was just looking for anything to take my mind off of things and make the day go faster." This strange sadness and depression came as a result of multiple unfortunate events that struck the athlete. He sustained a bone bruise that required pain-killing injections to play. Shortly after, a specialist he met informed him that he had a broken bone on his foot. This occurred 2 months before the 2021 season began. Ridley had surgery to fix the problem and returned to training camp, but said he felt mentally drained. While at training camp, he needed painkillers to play and wasn't able to spend quality time with his daughter. His anxiety began rising and escalated after learning that burglars had broken into his home. "That's when I really just started to feel the weight of the world on my chest," he wrote. "I didn't have the words for what I was experiencing yet. It felt like I was getting attacked, but almost by something invisible." Despite this, the NFL still punished him for his crime by indefinitely suspending him. Most people wonder how he was caught, and it wasn't very complex. A senior NFL reporter explained that Calvin Ridley got caught because he placed a legal mobile bet in Florida with Hard Rock. They notified Genius Sports, who oversees betting integrity for the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons traded Ridley to the Jacksonville Jaguars while he was still suspended and reinstated on March 6, 2023. The next player on this list became a bounty hunter while playing pro NFL football. Jonathan Vilma. This incident involved an entire team, but this time they all got what was coming. Jonathan Polonese. Vilma is a former pro footballer who played in the NFL for 10 seasons. He served as a linebacker and was also a 3-time Pro Bowl selection. He played for the Miami Hurricanes during his amateur college career, winning a national championship in 2001. Vilma was selected by the New York Jets in the first round of the 2004 NFL draw. He spent 4 seasons with the team before being transferred to the New Orleans Saints, where he won a Super Bowl championship. The great scandal occurred while he was with the New Orleans Saints. Most people know it as the New Orleans Saints bounty scandal and even nicknamed it Bountygate. This was an illegal program in which Saints players placed bounties on opposing players. This unsanctioned event aimed to knock out players who appeared on the bounty, and a bonus would be paid to the defensive player who made the hit. This event began in the 2009 season as a slush fund for paying the bounties was found. The account was operated from the 2009 season, the year the Saints won Super Bowl X Live, to the 2011-12 playoffs. The NFL League Commissioner Roger Goodell responded to this scandal with some of the most severe punishments the league had ever witnessed. These punishments went as far as being the most severe ones given for in-game misconduct in North American professional sports history. The punishments began with defensive coordinator Greg Williams being suspended indefinitely, but this was overturned after a year. The Saints head coach, Sean Payton, was suspended for the entire 2012 season, the first time the league had suspended a head coach. General manager Mickey Loomis was suspended for the first 8 games of the 2012 season, making this the first time the league had suspended a general manager. Assistant head coach Joe Vitti was suspended for the first 6 games of the 2012 season. Organizers of the Saints were penalized with a $500,000 fine. They were also forced to forfeit their second-round draft selections in 2012 and 2013. 4 players on the team were suspended for being directly involved in the scandal, with Vilma receiving the most punishment. He was suspended for the entire 2012 season, but former Commissioner Paul Tagliabue overturned this. Vilma and the other players were saved because the Saints organization was primarily responsible for the scandal. Next is considered one of the most hilarious cheating attempts in NFL history. Malik Jackson. This next player tried cheating and didn't even hide it. He was caught on camera, but it appeared as though the game's umpire didn't mind what he did. Well, it's safe to say that his antics didn't take him so far. Malik Jackson, a former professional football player, was born in Los Angeles, California. He played college football for the Tennessee Volunteers and was selected in the 5th round of the 2012 NFL Draft by the Denver Broncos. He won the Super Bowl 50 while with the Broncos in 2016 and scored the game's first touchdown. He also played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Philadelphia Eagles, and Cleveland Browns. On September 17, 2012, Jackson made his NFL debut against the Atlanta Falcons, a game the Broncos lost 27-21. He made his first career tackle during the next game against the Houston Texans, a game which they also lost. He played his first playoff game on January 12, 2013, where the Broncos lost to the Baltimore Ravens 38-35 in overtime during the AFC divisional round. During the 2015 season, the Broncos played in Super Bowl 50, where Jackson scored his only career touchdown after recovering a fumble in the end zone. This gave his team the early 10-0 lead they needed to win the game and secure the Super Bowl championship. He would later sign a 6-year contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars on March 9, 2016. This contract was worth $85.5 million, with $31.5 million guaranteed and a signing bonus of $10 million. He spent only 3 years with the Jaguars before being released due to salary cap issues. He signed a 3-year $30 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, but only spent 2 seasons before being released. Jackson would retire from the sport after spending a season with the Cleveland Browns. This announcement came in July 2023. His simple career did have its weird moments, as fans caught him during a game. Footage was the camera even captured this, but no one did anything about it. The defensive tackle was standing near the goal line when his opponents, the San Francisco 49ers, were getting ready for play to begin again. Jackson was nudging the ball backward with his foot once the referee walked away. No one called him out for what he did, not even the opposing team, and most people found this hilarious. This move was all for nothing, as the 49ers, who scored, handed the ball off to their running back. This next player's violence went against the NFL's rules and landed him in a lot of trouble. And Damukong Shu. Next, we have a player who couldn't help himself from being petty on the field, and Damukong Shu is a professional football player and defensive tackle. Born in Portland, Oregon, he played college football for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, earning All-American honors. While in college, he became one of the most decorated players in the history of college football. He won several awards, including the Associated Press College Football Player of the Year Award, Bronco Nagurski Trophy, Chuck Bednarik Award, Lombardi Award, and Outland Trophy. He was also selected by the Detroit Lions second overall in the 2010 NFL Draft. Shu has played for multiple teams, including the Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Philadelphia Eagles. The defensive tackle spent 5 seasons with the Detroit Lions on a contract worth $68 million with $40 million guaranteed. He was selected to 4 All-Pro and Pro Bowl teams and was also awarded Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2010. Upon joining the Lions in 2010, Shu began receiving fines as he was what you would call a physical player. His first disciplinary action came for unnecessary roughness against a quarterback named Jay Cutler. On November 24, 2011, he pushed the Packers guard Evan Dietrich Smith's head into the ground 3 times and then stomped on his arm. He was penalized for unnecessary roughness, ejected from the game, and given a 5-game suspension. This was the longest suspension for an on-field incident in NFL history. The next season, in 2012, Shu kicked his opponent's groin during a Thanksgiving game on November 22, 2012. He was ultimately fined $30,000 for his reckless action. The height of his on-field violence occurred during a loss to the Green Bay Packers. Shu was suspended for 1 game for stepping on the leg of Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The league announced this, and they stated the incident. "You did not respond in the manner of someone who had lost his balance and accidentally contacted another player who was lying on the ground." The NFL Vice President of Football Operations, Merton Hanks, also added, "This illegal contact, specifically the second step and push off with your left foot, clearly could have been avoided." He continued by saying, "You unnecessarily stepped on your opponent's unprotected leg as he lay on the ground, unable to protect himself." This 1-game suspension upset the Lions, as Shu was crucial to their defensive front. Even the greatest players aren't innocent, as our next mention is quite surprising. Tom Brady. This next mention is considered the greatest player to grace the world of professional football. He is also among the most decorated athletes in the world, and his list of achievements is incomparable to anyone else's. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. is a former professional quarterback who played in the NFL for a staggering 23 seasons, of which he spent his first 20 with the New England Patriots. Brady is considered the franchise's dynasty from 2001 to 2019. In college, he played football for the Michigan Wolverines and was selected 199th overall by the Patriots in the 6th round of the 2000 NFL Draft. It didn't take long before he became his team's starting quarterback. He aided the Patriots in winning their first Super Bowl title in Super Bowl XXX. This was only the beginning of their success, as the Patriots held 17 division titles, including 11 consecutive from 2009 to 2019. They also attained 13 AFC championship games, including 8 consecutive games from 2011 to 2018. The Patriots made 9 Super Bowl appearances and won 6 titles. It's quite a surprise to see such an honorable player's name on this list. However, one particular scandal remained a mystery in the NFL. This involved the accusations of Brady and the Patriots deflating the footballs used during their games. Easier to grip, throw, and catch. This would have given the team an advantage as they applied it to their gameplay. An investigation was conducted into the deflating of footballs. A report from this investigation showed that Brady was at least generally aware of the intentional deflation. On May 11, 2015, the NFL suspended him for 4 games for his involvement in the scandal. This suspension was based on substantial and credible evidence that Brady knew that Patriot employees were deflating the footballs used. The legendary quarterback wasted no time in appealing the punishment. On September 3, 2015, Jude Richard M. Berman vacated his suspension, allowing him to play in the first 4 games of the 2015 NFL season. Years after this incident, even after Brady's legendary retirement, Netflix's Roast of Tom Brady show hosted the icon as its next target for an all-out roast secession. He supposedly admitted to the Deflategate accusations as he said,
You could have just given me the 20 million and I would just told you I did it.
However, this statement was taken as a joke, as the entire event was made to be a joke where various friends and comedians come together to laugh and make fun of him. It's funny to think that some players, like the player mentioned next, don't know when they are cheating. Jerry Rice. Next on this list is another legend of the sport, and it makes it seem as though even the greatest players couldn't help themselves from cheating here and there to gain an advantage over their opponents. Jerry Lee Rice is a former pro football player who served as a wide receiver and played for 20 seasons in the NFL. Rice played college football for the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils and set several National Collegiate Athletic Association records, including becoming the all-time leader in NCAA receiving touchdowns. He even set some team records and joined the San Francisco 49ers after being selected as the 16th overall pick of the 1985 NFL Draft. He had what seemed to be a modest rookie season and returned the next season to be one of the best receivers in the league. He led the NFL in receiving yards and touchdowns. This is no easy feat, and he accomplished this 4 times. He set the record for the most receiving touchdowns in a single season, with 22 touchdowns. This happened in a 12-game strike-shortened season, making the feat even more impressive. Rice won the back-to-back championships in 1988 and 1989 and was the MVP in the 1988 championship. He won his 3rd Super Bowl in 1994 and a 2nd Offensive Player of the Year award. He was later released from his contract after suffering a knee injury that would regress his playtime. The star player signed a 4-year contract with the Oakland Raiders, where he helped them appear in Super Bowl X6 and 7. Unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the Raiders, putting a blemish on Rice's previously unblemished Super Bowl record. He announced his retirement on September 5, 2005, and the 49ers offered him a contract allowing him to retire as a team member. During his eventful career, Rice didn't hold back in giving his team all he had to offer. It's sad to say that this also involved going against the rules to some extent. He admitted to applying stickum to his gloves. This is a substance that its use was considered illegal in 1981, and the star athlete made his NFL debut in 1985, 4 years after the rule was imposed. This admission came on an ESPN show regarding the evolution of gloves. "I know this might be a little illegal, guys, but you put a little spray, a little stickum on them to make sure that texture is a little sticky," he said with a laugh. Most people expected him to say he was joking by what he said, but he came out to reveal that he had no idea it was illegal. "I apologize, PPL, after doing my research about stickum," Rice said. "The NFL banned this in 1981. All players did it." Next is someone who is considered a monster of a player, and he's been suspected of illegal substance use for years. Brian Cushing. Last but not least, we've got a player desperate to remain among the greats. This obsession led this player to go against the rules and eventually be caught. Brian Patrick Cushing is a former American pro footballer who played as a linebacker in the NFL. He played in the league for 9 seasons and played for only the Houston Texans. He played college football for the University of Southern Carolina Trojans and was selected by the Texans in the first round of the 2009 NFL Draft. Cushing's college career lasted 4 seasons under coach Pete Carroll. He bagged several awards at the college level, including a freshman All-American, Rose Bowl Defensive MVP, Rivals.com First Team All-American, and Associated Press First Team All-American. After being drafted by the Houston Texans in the 2009 NFL Draft, he had one of the best defensive seasons by a rookie in NFL history. His first pro career points came when he played against the Oakland Raiders on October 4, 2009. He was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week twice in one season and NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month in November 2009. He became the second Texan named the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. Cushing's alleged cheating began to surface during the 2010 season when he was suspended for the first 4 games for violating the league's performance-enhancing substances policy. He tested positive for having above normal levels of human chorionic gonadotropin hormone in his system. This proves that he had been using performance-enhancing substances. He denied rumors of using such substances before being drafted by the Texans. He was also willing to undergo more tests to determine why his human chronic gonadotropin levels were abnormally high. Most people believed that Cushing was innocent of the allegations as he had a strong upbringing and maintained his values. He was known for being cautious with whatever he consumed, whether food or drinks, and devoted to working out and being the best. However, some people suspect that this is all a facade, as some investigations revealed that he had one major rule: never to embarrass his parents. One YouTuber made a statement that made people realize that Cushing might just be guilty. Here's what he said.
To avoid embarrassing your parents, all you really gotta do is not get caught. But unfortunately, Brian couldn't even manage to do that.
Cushing was suspended for 10 games on September 13, 2017 for going against the NFL's performance-enhancing policy. He was released from the Texans after spending 9 years with them. If you enjoyed the video, don't go anywhere. Just click on any of the cards appearing on your screen right now and get even more exciting content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.